So tonight we meet Miss World Rhode Island. Interesting story. Yes, thank you for, did you catch me? Did you catch me looking at my notes? I think you did. Well, that's the way it goes. Yes, we're going to meet Miss World Rhode Island, who also runs a camp, which is called Camp Sparkle for young people, and she's going to explain what the premise and the mission of the camp is and talk about how she became the title owner that she is. And I understand that she's got a special aspect to her life that she's going to discuss, and it's all part of the new world. It is a pleasure to have you aboard. How are you? You're good? Good. I'm glad you're good. You can see us 3 times a night now on Mayor TV at 7:30 and 11:30, and of course, don't forget at midnight on Fox Providence. Welcome into my state of mind. I am Dan York. Let us go to the rundown and talk about the things that are happening. By the way, I know the Brady decision came down from the NFL. We'll talk about that in our final segment called One More Thing. Yes, there's a little bit of a culture problem in the city of Cranston. The headline bears that out. The mayor accused of interference, according to the state police report. Eyewitness News has the latest.
Mayor Fung, I'm embarrassed for you.
Council members with some harsh criticism toward Mayor Fung, who left the meeting early Monday night. But he did make a rare appearance at the beginning of the meeting to address the letter from Rhode Island State Police, citing a lack of leadership in the police department.
These structural problems didn't start with my administration. In fact, they are decades old. I did not create these problems, but one thing I will do, I will take ownership of fixing them.
The letter states during the investigation, the relationship between the mayor and Rhode Island State Police became strained when he didn't turn over an assessment from his first term. It claims Mayor Fung also had a private agreement to bring Captain Stephen Antonucci back to the department, something Colonel Michael Winquist didn't agree with.
From day one, I knew what I wanted out of this, what I thought was right for the Cranston Police Department, and I was willing to fight for that, so that's what I've done.
Now council members are fighting to have the assessment released to the public.
And it well should be. The mayor has sent the report, the full report, which is, I believe, hundreds of pages long, to the Attorney General's office for its review to make sure that there is, no violation of personnel matters and the like. With minor redactions at the maximum, that has got to be released. Now, WPRO Radio and the newsroom talked with Fung between last night and today. And he's playing the old routine like, hey, listen, I asked for the report, so, that's cool.
I asked for this report. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not hiding anything. Now, I'm talking to you. I've talked to the press. And I'm going to, continue to, be here and, answer questions about it.
Well, we'll be inviting Mayor Fung to our studio here to answer questions about it, because I've got about 30. There are 6 stories in this report. The 4-page letter that is the precursor points out that the mayor thwarted an effort and an agreement between he and the state police that he wouldn't make any deals with employees in the police department without their knowledge and or approval. And when it came to the Captain Antonucci thing, the guy in the middle of the whole Ticketgate scandal, he went ahead and made a deal with him anyway. I don't know what Mr. Antonucci has on Mr. Fung, but somewhere along the line, that may just come out. But at this point, as far as the mayor's concerned, he's hoping that you believe that it's all spilt milk. And we can run that audio. That would be the radio audio, if we have that. Yes? No? Maybe
I
so.
disagree with some of the characterizations that are in there, but it's about moving forward. Now, this chapter's, ended. And, in fact, even on the ticketing investigation, that came to a resolution that was satisfactory both to Colonel Winquist, importantly, and the administration.
All right, here's the point. And I apologize for that little technical glitch, but here's the thing. The mayor is trying to think that this is spilt milk and it's behind him. The only folks who will really determine whether or not this is a political problem for him and an occupational disaster for him will be you. If you let it go and roll your eyes over Rhode Island corruption and mismanagement and just say it's just another story, he'll survive it. If you get angry, righteously, he won't. The not so listening tour. Did you see that the Providence Journal reported out that Barrington's listening tour stop for the new Paw Sox ownership turned out to be not a listening tour at all. The headline says it's gone in a new direction. That's because what was we want to sit and listen to your thoughts about the Paw Sox moving to 195 downtown. There's a kind of a good and healthy thing. There's Dr. Steinberg, the former dentist and spokesguy for the Red Sox in previous community meetings. Well, he didn't make the one in Barrington regarding that proposal right there. But now you have to write your questions down on a piece of paper. I don't know how much listening goes on when you have to read the people's questions. The people like questions anyway. This is the most ill-thought-out marketing exercise I've ever seen. All the people want to know is, what's the deal on the Paw Sox? What's the new transactional offer on the Paw Sox? That's it. The torch is out. The transactional deal for the city of Boston is, well, too loose for the mayor of Boston.
This is a commitment that I cannot make without assurances that Boston and its residents will be protected.
That was Boston Mayor Marty Walsh in a much different tone from when he found out Boston was chosen by the U.S. Olympic Committee as the country's bid back in January.
I knew that Boston was destined to be America's bid to host the 2024 games.
Critics of the bid say Boston's pitch lacked organization and support from lawmakers. Mayor Walsh accelerated the collapse when he refused to sign the host city contract. That would have had Boston pay for any of the cost overruns. Right now, Paris, Rome, and Hamburg, Germany are the cities left who have announced their intent to bid.
You know, I'm guessing that when most people saw this headline regarding this whole thing, that there were no tears shed. A lot of congestion problems for the city of Boston. Sure, there's some pride that comes along with hosting the Olympics, but sometimes it's good politics and good management to get out before, you know, you have problems. And not having a tidy fiscal situation could have been big problems. The scout ban is lifted, so they say. WashingtonPost.com reports that there's been a change of direction at the head of the Boy Scouts of America, which, you know, seems to be a good thing. Holding on to an old ban that men who happen to be gay can't run scout camps, like it just lost its traction.
The ban barred openly gay adults from serving as den leaders, scoutmasters, and camp counselors. Back in May, organization president and former Defense Secretary Robert Gates spoke out about the policy.
We must deal with the world as it is, not as we might wish it would be.
While many are celebrating the shift in policy, others say it doesn't go far enough. Under the decision, church-based units can continue to choose adult leaders whose, quote, beliefs are consistent with their own. But the decision does ban discrimination based on sexual orientation in all of its paying jobs across the country.
There will probably be some litigation on this still. The local discretion creates some murky area. But for the most part, the national organization is saying, hey, we can't prevent people who happen to be gay from running scout troops. And, you know, there's no room left in America's cultural appetite for that argument. And it's just the way it is. Speaking of cultural arguments, here's a brand new one, a gender breakthrough. NFL.com reports this development. This Jen Welter, who's played a little football in her own time, is now getting a chance to coach on the field.
Jen Welter loves football. The 37-year-old played professionally for 14 years, mostly for a women's team based in Dallas. Her career included a stint with the Texas Revolution Indoor League, where she went toe-to-toe with the men. She then joined that team as an assistant coach. She'll take the field this summer for the Arizona Cardinals with their coaching staff as a training camp intern. Although progress is slow, women are making a dent in the hyper-competitive world of men's major professional sports. Last August, Becky Hammon became the first full-time female assistant coach in NBA history. And this past spring, the NFL announced Sarah Thomas will become the league's first full-time female official.
Seems to me this is a good thing. By the way, this Jen Welter's taken a couple of hits, although I think the linebacker there was fairly gentle on her. That's one highlight. How would you know? But you know what? A lot of coaches of men over the years have not been high performers, but they've been students of the game. So I see no reason why this isn't a good thing. All righty, let's see what's on your mind, your state of mind. Call us at 228-1886. Email us Facebook, tweet at us, Stan York Show. Don't forget the E. Let's see what we've got here. This is Dino talking about the Paw Sox Stadium deal. I believe everyone's going all about this the wrong way. You sort of have to look at this as a high-stakes poker hand. Right now, the Sox group is sitting at the table with the most chips and the better hand. The citizens of Pawtucket and any other city the Sox group are considering ought to go to their mayors and the city council and be asking, what can we offer the Sox group to come here? Then bring that to the poker table and level out the game. Dino, I would like to play poker with you because I'd take you for everything you have. I don't know what kind of strategy you think that is, respectfully, but let me just say this. All that should be requested right now is what is the offer for that project. The first offer didn't fly. We need to know what the second offer is. We don't need to play poker. We need above the board table game here. Thanks for checking in. When we come back, Miss World Rhode Island. Stay with us.
I'm ready.
All right. She's here. She's locked in. She's not originally from here, but we'll figure it all out. Some last-minute conversation with Amara Barry. Look at that. This is a scene from. What is Miss World Rhode Island? Welcome, by the way.
Hi, thank you. It's so great to be here.
Nice to have you. What is Miss World Rhode Island?
Well, Miss World is the world's oldest and largest international beauty pageant.
Really?
Yes, it consists of 140 nations, and there are 7 areas of competition. Miss World actually made headlines last year because there is no swimsuit competition. They replaced it with Beauty with a Purpose instead.
What does that mean?
So Beauty with a Purpose is your community involvement. It's what you do with your title, and it's the difference you want to make in your community. For mine, I did it with my work with Camp Sparkle.
Which we're going to talk about in a little bit. So, no bathing suit?
No swimsuit.
No swimsuit. How do you feel about that?
I love it. I think all pageants showcase women in different ways, and I've done pageants with swimsuit competitions, and I think it can be very empowering for the women on stage. But I really like that the Miss World organization took a stand, and they have a fitness competition instead.
Okay, so you are Miss World Rhode Island. How many contestants were involved in that competition?
The Miss Rhode Island World pageant had, I think, a total of 30 contestants between Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Now, they don't tell us who's competing from which state because they don't want us to know who our competition is. They just put everyone together and the judges go by scoring.
Regionally?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are 3. So
have you competed in the next steps yet, or?
I did. I competed at Miss World America 3 weeks ago in Washington, D.C.
And how'd that turn out?
Well, I didn't win, but I had a great experience, and I'm really excited. In fact, our current reigning Miss World America is visiting me in Rhode Island very soon.
Oh, good. All right. So what did it all bring? Is this the first? No, it's not the first pageant. You said that you've done this before.
That's right. I have competed in other competitions, but none is really quite like Miss World. It's different from any competition I've ever seen.
Because?
It's got areas like an Oxford-style debate. It's got a fitness competition. It lasts for a month. It's the oldest and largest international beauty pageant.
Does it get national television exposure?
It does, yes. It's on E! And you know, a lot of people from around the world tune in to the Miss World pageant, which will be in China this year.
All right. So, is it a big deal that you're gay?
I don't think so. I don't think it really affects my job as a title holder.
I just dropped that on the audience. Look, we're supposed to just kind of roll into that stuff, but then again, you're the first one.
That's right.
So I'm through trying to navigate this stuff. So I just ask the questions, and I'm wary about how the questions go.
All right, let's do this.
So, were you the only lesbian contestant?
To my knowledge, I was.
Okay.
I'm the
historically or currently or?
Currently, I definitely am. Historically, we've had title holders who have come out of the closet after their national competitions. We've never had a state title holder go into their competition while being out of the closet. So I don't think that, I think in 2015, it really doesn't affect who I am as a title holder or the job I can do as Miss Rhode Island
Fully
World.
Disclosed even before the local competition, correct?
Yes, that's
So it
correct.
didn't prevent you from winning the local competition, obviously.
No, it did not.
Did it come up in the conversation and the competition through the pageant process? Did you have to talk about it? Were you asked about it?
No, you know, it didn't come up with the judges or at any point in the competition. There were appearances in New England that I was invited to that other title holders weren't. So I attended certain pride events with Miss Boston or with Miss Massachusetts, and so it was just another thing that makes me unique and makes me relatable to that many more people.
All right, so where are you locally? You live here locally, correct?
I do. I live in Providence.
And you're from California originally?
Originally,
so
yes.
when did you come here?
I came here for Brown in 2012.
And you were a gender studies major?
Gender studies and public policy.
Well, what are we doing with that curriculum?
Well, gender studies, I'm going to work at Starbucks. Public policy. So what's really great about gender studies is it's the study of women's history and the way that we interact with women and treat women throughout history and in society. It's such an important area of study. The other area of study I'm focused on is public policy, and I'm interested in probably attending law school. There are a lot of attorneys in my family.
Why do you joke about the gender studies thing? There's no necessary connection from degree to
Absolutely
job.
Not. Well, I think
you know,
that
listen,
when
there's
you're
a lot of sociology out there right now. It seems to me to have a flavor of that as a focus along with your legal work and the like. You probably have some kind of advocacy role as a lawyer, right?
Definitely. I think it's very socially applicable. But I think also when you're 21 years old and you're in this job market, you have to laugh at your major.
Well, you obviously have a good sense of humor about everything. Never mind. The gender studies thing come from your orientation and life experiences? Is that why you're doing that?
I just thought it was an interesting area of study. It incorporates so many other areas, so you take classes in all sorts of departments in the humanities, and I really liked the flexibility of that. And Brown already has such a great flexible curriculum that I had even more room to study it.
What's one of your big takeaways from studying gender? What V8 has gone off in your head about the whole thing?
You know, I had a working understanding of gender before I started, and now I just don't know anymore.
Meaning?
I don't know that we define gender and sex in ways that always make sense or that are always set.
Oh boy. That's a whole nother show.
I think so. You'll have to have me back.
Yes, I'll have to have you on the radio as well, and we'll talk about that.
Sure.
But you're working with kids.
I am.
And we'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. So we're talking with Miss World Rhode Island, and you have a big project you're working on.
I do.
Talk to me about it.
So Camp Sparkle is a place where a princess can learn everything a princess needs to know. How to change a tire, how to fix a leaky faucet, and how to build things, and sometimes how to break things. It is a science and technology, engineering and math-focused camp, and we do traditionally male life skills. It's open to kids of all genders.
Okay. What was the genesis of this idea?
Well, I've worked with kids for about 10 years. I've been a nanny and a babysitter. So I was looking for a place where kids could learn skills that we don't always teach. And I think that self-esteem really comes from having concrete skills and from learning how to do things with your hands. So the goal of Camp Sparkle is to make sure that our kids feel good about themselves, not because we told them to, but because they can accomplish something, they've made something with their own two hands.
I think that's fascinating. It was so funny. I was watching, I don't know if you've seen the HBO piece in the Real Sports program. I got caught with it last night. They were doing this whole long piece on this now propensity in America to reward kids for doing nothing, for losing, for just participating, trophies for everything. You're okay, you're special, da-da-da-da-da. And while I'm about empowering kids, I think that's a good thing. Giving them awards for doing nothing, I don't think grows you. At least what you're trying to do here, if I understand it correctly, is make them productive and create some kind of confidence and identity through having done something?
Well, we want their confidence to come from within, and we want their sense of accomplishment to come from within. So we want them to know that they can do things on their own, and they should feel proud of that. And of course, we encourage them, and we want to affirm them and make sure they feel good about themselves. But we took a very hands-on approach to doing that.
Right, so what is this something you learned at Brown? Is this something you've been thinking about on your own? Is this your own idea? Tell me about the whole think tank surrounding Camp Sparkle.
Well, women are seriously underrepresented in the sciences. So one thing we wanted to do was figure out the youngest age where we could change that by culturally having a camp that girls enjoyed, but also a camp where, you know, we told them and they knew it was okay for them to wear their tiaras while they changed attire. So
Say that slowly. It's okay for them to wear their tiaras while they change the tire.
Yeah, it's okay to wear your tiara while you're changing a tire. And it doesn't make you any less strong, and it doesn't make you any less feminine. It's just an interesting new combination. So we wanted to create a mostly girls environment that was girl positive and science positive, so that the girls grew up knowing that they could do anything and be anything, including an engineer, even if they're not seeing as many women engineers as role models.
So tell me, is this thing working out?
I think it's working out really well.
Yeah?
Yes.
What's going on with it right now? Are we in the middle of it? I have to check my notes here. I apologize. Is it ongoing over the course of the summer?
We have a very small class for the summer. So families that are interested in joining us can check out our website, campsparkleri.com.
There you go.
Now, we're keeping our class size small. We're trying out a lot of our programs and curricula. We want to make sure that we have a whole program before we roll it out to all of Rhode Island. We've run one session in April, during April vacation, and we feel like most of our programs went well. We just want to refine them so that they're Common Core aligned and a little more educational, make sure they're academic and scholastic.
Well, it sounds very conscientious to me. What did you learn most from the first run at it?
Kids can be overscheduled.
Duh, constantly.
So I didn't know
There's
this.
no freelancing anymore. There's no hanging out in the neighborhood playing ball. Mom will be back.
But there should
whenever.
be, right. And so, you know, you talk about kids always getting trophies. Well, those kids are growing up and they're in college with me right now.
Right.
So
they don't know
all
what
of
to do
us,
unless they're told to go somewhere, right?
well, that's one issue. But we
Except get
realized
high
that,
and party and be destructive sometimes.
well, I don't know about all that.
Oh, well, you're Miss World Rhode Island. You wouldn't.
I
You're
don't.
above all that.
Well, my goal is world peace.
Oh, it is? And to work at Starbucks with your degree.
Well, my first goal is to make sure that Camp Sparkle has an adequate start as a program, good foundation.
But you've learned that they're overscheduled, so what are you doing about that?
We're letting them play more. We're making sure that they have free time, and we're making sure that they have personal projects that they can work on in their free time so that they feel like they have control over their schedule.
You're reporting back to parents that you think that their kids look like they're overscheduled? I mean, it's a real dialogue that ought to happen between, I don't know, somebody and parents today.
Well, I don't have any kids of my own, so I don't really think it's my place to tell parents how to schedule with their kids.
No, but you're taking notes on what you're seeing. Well, maybe you just did on the TV. You're overscheduling, Mom and Dad. Knock it off. campsparkleri.com if you're interested. We'll have you back. There's more conversation in the conversation. Congratulations on your accomplishments.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And your project. I think it's cool.
I'm so excited.
All right, one more thought when we come back. Stay with us. So if you're wondering what was on the table there, I never let Amanda show her crown. So her what? What do you call it? Amara. Oh, did I say Amara? What did I call you, Amanda? Yeah. Well, I'm a little flummoxed with this thing on my head. Tom Brady just got told by the NFL that it's 4 games and too bad. Now he's got a decision to make: go to court or try to make a deal. Tom, I suggest you make a deal. This will go viral. I'll see you tomorrow on the radio at noon on WPRO. Good night.